to YouTube. We are here. Yeah, let's hear it. 20 years of YouTube. Let the cat video flow. So, we are here today to talk about what's important to a lot of creators, to people like me. I am your creator liaison. I've been a creator since 2008, and now I work inside YouTube to represent creators, and I work at places like this to help creators better learn about YouTube. Joining me today, we have Todd Beaupre, who is the algorithm.
Hello, everybody.
We also have Global Product Marketing Lead, Paige.
All right, let's take our seats for a sec. Todd, what do you do at YouTube?
Hey there, I run the product team that's responsible for growth and discovery, and what that means is helping keep YouTube growing and helping viewers discover great videos that they're going to love watching.
I love it. Paige, what do you do at YouTube?
Hey everyone, I'm Paige Donahue. I'm a global product marketing lead at YouTube, where I work on all the products and features that help creators grow their community, create amazing content, and earn more money.
Love it. And we also have a very special guest joining us here today. Can we hit her sizzle reel, please?
Because I can figure out how to make it viral. It's all about turning everyday moments into something people remember. Because when you know how to tell a story, you can make anything go viral. After getting billions of views, I've coached thousands of creators to success. So now it's your turn.
Jenny Hoyas.
What's up?
All right, let's go. Todd, how does the algorithm actually work?
All right, here goes. So the first thing to think about when you think about the algorithm is to know that it's focused on the audience. The algorithm at YouTube that's recommending video, it doesn't aim to have its own opinions about what content should be recommended. And it's very centered on every viewer that comes to YouTube. So when you upload a video to YouTube, while we'll send out notifications to folks who have subscribed and requested those notifications, push it out there, most of your distribution is probably not going to come from notifications. And most of the way it works is actually triggered by the viewer. So when each viewer, like Paige, opens up her YouTube app, that's when the algorithm starts working. And it's centered around that viewer. So for Paige, what we're gonna do to try to find the best content for Paige right now is we're gonna do the same sort of things that you might do if you were trying to come up with a good video recommendation for a friend based on everything you know about Paige. So we'll do some basic things like say, okay Paige, well what channels are you subscribed to? Let's get those videos in here. What channels have you watched recently or watched before? And bring in those. What kind of topics do you tend to watch? Those sorts of basic things. We also have some logic in the algorithm that will do things like look at particular videos that the viewer has watched and then find other videos that tend to be enjoyed by the audience that watched that video. So that's called collaborative filtering. We often call that automated word of mouth. So it's kind of like finding all the people who watched this video and asking them, well, what else did you watch? And then the third type of thing we do is much more of the sophisticated AI sort of stuff where we take everything we know and feed it into a neural network and find videos that way. So there's a lot of different techniques. It's pretty, there's a lot of complexity in there, but what I encourage you to focus on is not so much all those details, but know that what the algorithms are trying to do is find videos that are just going to make viewers happy based on each viewer's individual tastes. And so the more that you can understand who your viewers are, what the value you're trying to bring to them, the easier time you're going to have connecting with them through the algorithm.
I love that. Jenny, hearing that the algorithm's job is to follow the audience, how do you think about that as a creator?
Definitely. So as Todd said, the algorithm isn't going to find viewers for your video. They are trying to find videos for viewers when they go onto YouTube. So because of that, I am very intentional about thinking about the viewer who is watching my videos, and we want to speak specifically to them, because if the video doesn't feel like it is for them, they're just going to not click on it or just scroll if they're on the shorts feed. So we need to be very intentional with making the viewer feel like, wow, this video is for me, this person's talking to me. And I do that by trying to be specific when I am speaking to them, whether I am telling them that this is for people who are, let's just say, trying to lose weight, or this is for someone who is this age demographic, and being specific to that person. Some people are afraid to do that because they feel like they are niching down, but by not being specific and being broad, you're just appealing to no one.
Yeah, I love that. I want to get quickly into some myths, because we've seen videos chatter recently. Some people say, Todd, the file name is really important to the algorithm, or the text that you might put inside the video. What do you actually care about?
What we care about is that viewers are getting value. So, think about it, in order for a viewer to get value, the first thing they have to do is, when they see your video, they have to click it if it's long form, or they have to keep watching if it's short form. And then the longer they watch, that's a signal of value. If they like it or dislike it, that tells us more about value. But all is about trying to understand how much value did people get from it. Now, does the file name indicate how much value people get out of something? Not a really good signal, not something we really look at, because it doesn't really help us understand that value.
I love that. I love that. Some of the things we think about as creators, for example, in a short, that first frame, those first seconds. For long form, I Photoshop my thumbnail onto the homepage. I look away, I look back. If my eyes do not fall on my thumbnail, I know I have work to do. Because people aren't clicking, right? There's maybe a Mr. Beast video here, a Michelle Khare video there. They're not gonna watch my video if they don't click. A title that lives in their head rent-free, like just until they click on it. What are you thinking about when you want to get people to watch?
100%. That is so true. And the way I think about it is, you need to hook the viewer, whether that's it's a hook, or if it's a long form title and thumbnail. It needs to be an itch that they cannot scratch unless they watch your video, which is why I love to use questions or ideas that have curiosity gaps, because viewers need to watch the video in order to have that curiosity resolved or that problem answered.
Yeah, I think.
You mentioned looking at your thumbnail and how it fits in the environment. One thing I want to remind folks that may not know is that YouTube recently announced that in the U.S. people are spending more time watching YouTube on their televisions now than on their mobile devices. And so some savvy creators have stopped just like looking at it on their phone or on their computer, and they sit down in the living room and they say, well, how do I show up there? So think about all those environments.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because YouTube does know, for example, if you're watching in the morning on your phone or watching late at night on your television, and you tune notifications for that, recommendations for that, but you also focus on satisfaction rather than raw engagement, which is one of my favorite things about YouTube. Could you explain the difference?
Yeah, so engagement, we look at several different things. When we started out on YouTube, we were optimizing for clicks and views, and then we found that led to too much kind of clickbait, and then we moved into watch time, and that really helped us understand the value a bit more. And then we started introducing this notion of satisfaction, which was, hey, let's not just look at what user behavior is doing, and because not all time you spend watching videos is equally valuable. So we started augmenting that with things like surveys, where maybe the next day after you watch a video, we'll ask you what you thought of that video, so we can bring together not just the behavior, but also the feeling that people get when they watch a video, and reward those videos that are actually having a deeper connection with people than just kind of spending their time.
Yeah, and that's what hooks me on your videos. Like I watched one of your videos, I got such a good feeling. The next time I saw you, I wanted more of that feeling, and you gave it to me. I think sometimes creators might do like random videos, and then I don't know what I'm getting. And so it's like I hesitate, like, do I want, this is a safer bet for me. But I love that, like, I get not always the same topic, but the same feeling from your videos. Do you think about that? Is that calculated?
Oh, 100%. When I started off with my channel, I was in a niche, but eventually I did want to expand and get outside that niche. And a lot of people always ask me too, oh, if I want to get out of my niche, am I just going to lose my viewers? I think what you said is how you keep your viewers, even if you change the topic or niche. If they still feel the same when watching your videos, if they still feel those good vibes, you have the same character, the same principles, same values and missions throughout the videos, then that's super important. It stays, it's a consistent, satisfying experience.
Yeah, I love that. Let's talk about analytics, Todd, because I think analytics are great for creators, but there's a few things like averages can be confusing. Percentages can be confusing. What we get asked a lot is, hey, this video has my highest click-through rate ever, my highest retention ever, but it's not getting any views. What explains that? What is the paradox of analytics?
Yeah, so the paradox is that the broader the audience, the more kind of downward pressure there's going to be on things like your click-through rate. Like some of the most popular successful videos have actually kind of low click-through rates. But that's because they've been shown to many, many viewers that may not have ever watched the channel before. And those videos are still performing better than other videos would perform in that same place. And so if you're seeing like high CTR or high performance, but not as many impressions, you need to understand that you got to compare apples to apples. So if you have like a 5% CTR on something that say has 10,000 impressions versus a 5% CTR on something that has millions of impressions, you need to know that that 5% CTR 10,000 one would not have had 5% if it had been shown more. And so the algorithm is able to like figure that out and kind of prevent the wrong videos from getting too many impressions. So I would just baseline against your own and know that if you're not getting more impressions, there's probably like some competitive effects going on where there's just another video there right now that is performing better, and know that we don't want to give up though. Like we will constantly test videos over time. At some point there will be users that scroll down to lower ranked videos, and so you will have more chances over time.
I love that. I think like some videos, your core loves it and they click immediately. They instant click and they watch it, so the CTR, their retention get really high. But when they go to the mainstream is like, I'm not that interested. And then the system is so good that it just falls, and the CTR stays high, the retention stays high, the impressions don't grow. But 3% of a million is so much bigger than 10% of 500.
Yeah, and sometimes it can work the other way too, where, like maybe you haven't had very many impressions on a video, and then suddenly, maybe 5 months into your video, it takes off out of nowhere. And creators ask, well, why would that happen? Sometimes it's that the algorithm got to like critical mass of a new audience that had just started watching it. Another time, it could be just dynamics in the ecosystem. I had an art creator show me his analytics where one of his videos just took off and became his biggest video ever. He's like, I didn't change anything. Why did this happen? What happened was there was another channel that uploaded a viral art video that was related to his video that had been on the platform for a while. And so when that other video went viral, it created new opportunities as there was a lot more attention coming into the art space, and then he was able to kind of draft behind that video as a great recommendation to watch next. So some of these things are outside your control. I encourage you not to get too caught up in these things, and instead just focusing on uploading consistently, trying to deliver that value, and play the long game.
Jenny, you have some examples that you wanted to show us, specifically my favorite, the audience tab. How do you think about these?
Yeah, so when it comes to the audience tab, I think this is super important. It's underrated. Again, we were talking about the importance of understanding who you're speaking to, because if they don't feel like it's for them, then they're just not going to watch the content. Looking at your audience tab is super important to understand even like where they're watching. It's crazy because I make shorts, and believe it or not, more than 20% of my viewers watch on TV. You can see it up there. It says 22%. It's insane. We go to also see their geographies, their age and gender. We could also see the content that's growing my audience, which is super important because it's not on the screenshot here, but in this same section in your analytics, you can see the content that's growing your audience, and from there you can recreate that format and even create a series off of the videos that are growing your audience the best.
Yeah,
For those who don't know about the videos growing your audience, to just explain a little bit more, what it shows is of the videos you've uploaded, not just like how many views did you get, but how many views did you get from new viewers who discovered your channel through that video. And then it tells you of those new viewers who came in that way, how many then came back on a different day to watch more from your channel. And that can give you a much stronger sense of like, well, did this just attract kind of some drive-by, one-off tourists, or did this attract people that were really into what I was offering elsewhere as well? So if you don't want to be a one-hit wonder, look at those videos and see which ones are turning into kind of multi-hit routines for your audience.
Yeah, look at what your audience loves, give them more to love, but then also give them something to watch after what they like. So if you have an amazing video, yes, make more videos like that, but also make videos that are no-brainers to watch after they watch that. Because if they start watching 1 video, 2 videos, 3 videos, 4 videos, you become a habit for them, and you become someone like Jenny, who you will click on every time.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the goal.
So once you start building these audiences, there's various ways of interacting with them, of turning them from maybe new users into returning users. And one of the most powerful ones we've seen recently, Paige, is Vertical Live.
Yes, so first of all, before we get into Vertical Live, I'm curious, can I get a show of hands? Who here has ever gone Vertical Live on YouTube before? Okay, we got a few in the crowd. Love to see it, but I think we could see a lot more, and you guys are in for a treat. We are going to blow your mind. I think Vertical Live is honestly a bit of a hidden gem on YouTube because it really sits at the intersection of discovery and community engagement. It is this super powerful tool that allows you to not only grow your audience, grow your subscribers, but it also allows you to go deep with your fans and really build and engage that community. The reason that it's so good at discovery is that when you go live vertically, like from your phone, for example, your live stream is eligible to be shown in the Shorts feed. And the Shorts feed is one of the most powerful discovery tools on the web, right? So you're opening yourself up to this whole new audience that can find and discover you. At the same time, you're also able to go deeper with your existing fans, spend time with them, allow them to get to know you, and really do both. And I think that's really unique because with a lot of things, it often feels like maybe you have a choice, right? You have a choice between, am I gonna drive discovery here? Am I gonna drive these top line subscriber view metrics, or am I gonna try and go deep and engage my audience? And Vertical Live is something that really allows you to do both. Jenny is one of the creators who has had amazing success with Vertical Live, not only in its ability to engage her audience, but also grow her subscribers as well. Jenny, do you want to share a little bit about this Vertical Live that you did?
Yeah, so these are incredible stats. Oh my goodness. So a couple of months ago, I did a live stream where I was drawing my subscribers. As you can see, we had like a clear glass in front of us, so we were writing right in front of the camera, and behind us we see the subscriber count. I was live for a little under 3 hours, and because it's on the Shorts feed, the discoverability was super great for my audience. They're already on the Shorts feed watching my videos, and then they can run into my live stream. And wow, in less than 3 hours, we got 1.6 million views. We gained over 66,000 subscribers and got over $1,600 in donations without even asking them for any money.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely amazing. What I love is some creators are hesitant to explore different formats. They're worried that if I go live, they might not watch my long form video, or they might not listen to my podcast. Todd, we live in an age now with multiple formats. How are you thinking about someone who's doing shorts and longs, podcasts, live, vertical live, all in the same channel maybe?
Yeah, so what we advise creators, one of the questions we get about, should I create a new channel for this format? Should I put it on my main channel? The rule that we tell folks, and it's not like a hard rule, if you do it differently, that you'll never be successful. But is if you are trying to deliver content to the same audience as your existing channel, then you should just stick with that same channel. Same audience, same channel. If you're trying to reach a different audience, where you think that, oh, well, like, you know, maybe I've done comedy shorts and I want to go into like serious interview podcasts, and you think it's going to be like very different people, then maybe consider having a different channel for that. But for the most part, if you're still reaching the same people, stick with the same audience. In terms of the formats, from the viewer perspective, we want to rank the formats fairly, so that we don't want there to be like a bias in the algorithm where like, oh, well, if you do like this format, then that will be favored in the algorithm. We don't put our hands on levers to try to promote vertical live or things like that more than viewers actually want to watch them, because we believe that focusing on what the viewer actually wants is much better than any short-term gain we would see from like putting our fingers on the scale. So we try to rank them fairly, and then we also look at things like, well, how much does this viewer tend to engage with this format? And there's a lot of work that our teams do to also, as part of ranking things fairly, appreciate that the value that each format gives, you have to look at different signals to understand that. So as one example, posts. You know, if we only looked at like time spent as the signal of value, like watch time, you know, how would a post ever compete with like an hour-long video? Like nobody's sitting there looking at a post for an hour, right? So we can't like just rank it based on that. So we do lots of experimentations to see what makes it fair. And so that's kind of how we're looking at it. And then the other question we get is often, well, what if I want my viewers in shorts to go to long form or live to go to, you know, some other format? You know, we are trying to connect viewers, and, you know, like I said in the beginning, when a viewer shows up, we look at what we understand about that viewer and their context, and we do try to give them the best that they're going to like. And so if somebody's watched shorts and they're currently scrolling through mostly a long form feed, we're going to take that knowledge that this person has really engaged with this channel in shorts and use that as some signal to say, oh, well, let's find the most relevant long form to that and give it a chance to be shown as well. Now, it's ultimately up to the viewers to tell us which of those paths are most likely to be traveled, and then we'll lean into those more. But there's also things creators can do to try to encourage viewers to cross formats, like shorts to long form. I don't know if you want to talk about how you've done that, Jenny, or?
Yeah, so when it comes to getting viewers to go from shorts to long form, I have seen success. First, I'm actually going to say what most people are doing, and it is completely not a good idea. So I'm going to start with that before I even say what I do for success. But what most creators do to get people to go from shorts to long form is creating a summarized version of their long form. They usually get their long form and they edit it down to a shorter version, which makes no sense because now there's no value for the viewer to watch the long form if the same value can be found in the short and the long form. So the way I think about it, not just with shorts to long form conversion, but with any conversion to anything, is you need to give your value in each individual thing. So if you are going to promote a long form, you need to give them a satisfying short and give them value there, but they can get even more value within your long form. So what I've done in the past, for example, for a video, was I made a long form video where I took a celebrity's course online. And then I made a short talking about the celebrity and their life, and then I ended it by saying, and they actually made this course, and if you want to see what it's like, I took it in a long form video, go check it out. And the long form had no views at the time, because my channel just started off when I did this. I made a short form video, it got 10 million views, and the long form went from having 0 views to over, now like 500,000 views.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super successful.
If someone's in the short feed, they're going to be happy to be in the shorts feed, and they're not going to move because we want them to, the creator wants them to, they're going to move if we make them want to. So show them that value, point them to the link, give them a reason to go, and then the same with a video, you click on it, you get a reward. If you go from shorts to the long form, you get a reward. That makes them like less risk, like they enjoyed it, they're going to keep doing it. And I think same with live, and I'd love it if you could just take a second, if a creator is hesitant about going live, or they're not sure, what are your pro tips for vertical live?
Yeah, I love vertical live. Number one, because it is super easy to do it. Like, you literally open the YouTube app, there's the plus button at the bottom middle of the screen, and then you swipe to live, and that's it, you go live. And I think I explained, like, literally it's 5 buttons and you're live. It's super simple, that's one thing. Number two, I love how you don't need to edit. Like, editing is a lot of work, and you don't need to really, I mean, I like to prepare ahead of time, but post-production is the process that takes the most time in video creation, but vertical live is so simple to do, and the discoverability is there. I mean, it just makes sense in every way.
And I want to get back to you about communities, and what I love about this is, with some people say, like, in the shorts feed there's no community, but going vertical live you can talk to your community, and what's more now, Paige, you can actually have a special area on your channel for your communities.
Yes. On Vertical Live, I think what makes it so cool is that you get to spend a lot of time with your audience. And what they see in psychology is that in real life, when you're interacting with people, the more time you spend with them, the more likely you are to like them and be friends with them. That's why we tend to be friends with the people we work with, the people we go to school with, the people that we see at the coffee shop every day. The more we're with someone, the more we like them, the more loyal we are to them. And so Vertical Live allows you to really spend that time with your audience and have them get to know you and get to know them. But beyond Vertical Live, we've also been thinking about how we can create more two-way interactions between fans, because that's a big part of community too, right? You can be a creator and you can be on a stage sort of broadcasting and talking to your audience, but what we really see is the creators with the strongest communities have created ways for their fans and for their subscribers to come together and get to know each other. Because if you do that, you're really creating value for your subscribers and value for your fans, because you're creating a space where they can feel like they belong, where they feel that they can meet people that they have things in common with, and they can really just connect over these shared interests that they have. So earlier this week, YouTube announced a new feature. It's called Communities, fittingly. This is what it looks like. We are currently rolling it out to creators around the globe, and we really built this to do just that. It's a dedicated space on a creator's channel where your subscribers can come together, start conversations, get to know each other, join the discussion, post photos, post memes, post fan art. And while you as a creator, of course, you can go in there and join the conversation too, but this is really intended to be a space for your subscribers where they can really feel that belonging, feel that sense of community.
What I love about this so much is, I feel sometimes as creators, people just keep adding jobs. Like, we have jobs, we have to think of videos, record videos, edit videos, post videos, talk in the comments, go on social networks and tell people to go watch the videos.
Make thumbnails.
Make them, yes. And then it's easy to just keep adding more jobs. What I love about communities is, like, it's not just something else I have to do. It's something my entire community can be part of. I don't have to think and post everything. I can, like, the whole community can come together and do it as a collective.
Oh yeah, 1000%. I think the best, most talented creators are really co-creating something with their audience, right? Whether it's here in the communities feature or it's how they're producing their videos and their ideas, right? They're really bringing their community and their audience along for the ride. All the way from ideation to posting the video to even doing things in real life and hosting meetups and whatnot, right? There's sort of this co-creation that is happening between creators and their communities, and that's really what we're trying to do here, is to allow the fans to really feel some ownership, to feel that they have a space for themselves. Now, I will say, the best communities we've seen, and we've been testing this feature for about a year with creators of all different sizes, different niches. I will say some of the best communities we've seen is really where the creator is more leaned in and they're more actively involved. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's this like totally hands-off thing. But the intention really is that it's a space for the fans and the creator can come in and out, maybe help moderate and shape the space and really help set the expectation of what the space is for, but really it's that space for the fans and the subscribers to come together.
Can we talk a little bit about community building? Because being discovered is great, the algorithm is great, going viral is great, but I think sometimes creators go viral and then they don't know what to do. Like they don't know how to follow it up with another video, they don't know how to turn those maybe new viewers into regular viewers and then into super fans. How do you think about that journey from like a new viewer seeing your video, watching you go live maybe, and then becoming like a Jenny Hoya super fan?
Yeah, so, wow, okay, I love that. So I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where we want to turn them first into a returning viewer. So once they saw one video, we can see what content's growing our audience by looking at the audience tab. And you want to follow up, or what I do is I like to follow up by turning it into a format or a content series. So like I have content buckets with like the same format like 20 times. So from there, I created a returning viewer, and once they become a returning viewer, now I want them to engage in the community. So I can do that with live streaming is one way. So in all my live streams, I always have the audience interacting. So I'm always running polls, and my audience in every single live stream is controlling the stream. So either they're doing polls so they can tell me what I need to do next, or I'm doing a specific thing for each subscriber. So like I put rubber bands over each watermelon for each subscriber, and I'll say each name, like thank you Jack for subscribing, there's a rubber band, etc. So that's one way, like actually like interacting with them. But also I love those who are, they say, oh I love your video, just tell them thanks. Like, that's dry. Like imagine you're do that. Like I hope you don't, like, you know, it's like someone sending you a thumbs up. Like, how could you just do that? So when someone comments on my video, I say, thanks, what was your favorite part about the video? Or what did you find funniest? And now they're coming back and we're creating a conversation. And then even some people jump in as well. And that's kind of like what communities is. But I'm always trying to engage and have conversations with those viewers, and that's how you build a relationship with them.
Yeah, I think recognition and acknowledgement is everything, right?
Yeah.
It can mean so much when you as a creator are jumping in the comments and liking a viewer's comment, you're responding, you're doing polls, and you're actually following up on what you asked in the polls. Like those little interactions and moments are really what turn like casual viewers into super fans. Just the act of being seen and being acknowledged can really be everything. So don't neglect that.
I wanted to build on the format thing that Jenny said. We've seen that audiences sometimes feel like it's just too much work to try to figure out what to watch. And when you create a format or a show around a particular concept, you're making it a lot easier for audiences to understand what value they're going to be getting. And it's a consistent thing. If you see something that's working and you can conceptualize it into a series, then the next time you have an episode, they're going to recognize, and it'll be very familiar to them. It'll be easier for them to decide to watch. And so we're investing in this area quite a bit, especially in the living room, TV, consoles, where we're going to be giving creators more tools to showcase shows. And those shows that where you have to watch in order because there's a sequential narrative that is important, but also shows that are just more episodic, where things like Hot Ones or Chicken Shop Date, you don't necessarily need to watch in order. You can just pop into the ones that you like the most based on the topic. But regardless, we're giving to merchandise or showcase their shows so that viewers can not only decide what to watch by seeing individual videos, but they could also see shows and navigate that way.
We can binge.
Yeah.
We can binge. I love that. One of the other ways that we're growing community on YouTube is multi-language. We have auto-dubbing now. Everyone in the YouTube Partner Program has access to auto-dubbing. We announced yesterday, I believe it's 9 languages currently, the languages, all of those to English and English to all of those languages. But we get questions, Todd, about how does that work with the algorithm? If I have English today, and let's say I add Spanish week, or let's say I go live with 9 languages, how do you deal with that on the algorithm side?
So it really comes down to the same core approach that we deal with just about everything. And the first thing is, we want to understand the user. So when a user shows up, the question we're going to want to know is, well, what languages of videos are they going to be interested in? And so we can look at signals like what language did they set when they kind of set up their account. But we also see that that's not always the most accurate thing. We actually see, for example, in India, a lot of people just don't change it from the default English, but then they watch a bunch of Hindi videos. And so we're also looking at their behavior to understand, okay, well, they watch this language even though their setting is the default. And so that's about understanding the user side, and then the other side is understanding the video side. And so when we collect the performance data about a video's performance, we happen in terms of which language it was. So we can learn that this video tends to perform like this when it's shown to people who speak Spanish versus something else. And so know that when you add those languages, it's not going to be just like where the algorithm's like, oh, I'm just going to take the average of all languages and that's going to be the best thing to know. It's going to consider that nuance. And we've actually seen even some top creators that when they have dubs in other languages, sometimes it's just you have an established audience in English just being shown for the first time in some of these countries, and you haven't built up your reputation and trust as a creator in those spaces. So if you do see differences in performance, what I say is don't worry about that, like we're going to say, oh, because you're not performing as well in India or Japan, that that's going to come back and hurt how you're doing in English. Just recognize that these are different audiences that you're going to have to build relationships with over time. It's almost like starting a new channel, but hopefully the tools make it a whole lot easier than having to manage a separate channel by language.
Jenny, have you tried the auto dubbing? Have you tried the dubbing in general?
I'm manually dubbing.
How are you? Tell me more.
So I speak English and Spanish.
Yes.
So I literally just I film my videos in English, and then afterwards we just do it in Spanish. And it's funny because my mom's in most of my videos. Spanish is her first language, English is my first language. So we just it's so funny in the videos she has an accent in the English videos, but then in the Spanish videos I have the accent. So it's pretty funny.
One thing I think that we talked about creators have problems with averages, and we do hear concerns like, oh, I made $100 in the US and I made $1 in another country, my average is now $50. It's really you made $101. And we see the same thing with, oh, my percentage of viewers in the US, I have 1 million viewers, but now I have 50 viewers in another country, so my US percentage has gone down. But you have more viewers. So I think I would just encourage creators to look at totals more than looking at averages. Any pro tips on the dubbing side, Jay?
I mean, auto dubbing is just the best tip.
Yeah.
Honestly, doing it manually is too much work. And the biggest tip is also like what Todd was saying. Why start a second channel? I know so many people who are starting different channels for all these different languages. It makes no sense. It's a lot more work to manage all those channels when you can keep it all in one.
Yeah, we have a lot of tools now in Studio that you do everything all in one channel. I want to get to like the serious pro tip level now stuff. I'm going to start with you, Paige. If someone is looking to, they're coming off of big viral video, or they've gone vertical live for the first time, and they're starting to feel that community, what's the best way to lead in? What's the best way to just really start growing community on YouTube?
I really think the best way to start growing community on YouTube is really, like I said, enabling those two-way interactions between your subscribers and really creating a moment where your subscribers and your fans can come together and sort of independently meet each other outside of the comment section of your video. That's, again, why we built this communities feature. I'm going to show you in a second where you can turn it on if you're interested in using it. I have a couple tips for you if this is something that you're interested in. Okay, so right there, you'll see if you go to your channel and then you tap on the pencil icon, it'll open that menu, and then you can select My Community, and it'll say Viewers Can Post, and that's it. It's pretty simple. Turn on your community. But what I recommend that you do is create a welcome post and use that to really set the expectation with your audience and subscribers of what you want to see in your community. Because it's really this space, right? And it's not one size fits all, depending on who your audience is, depending on who you are as a creator, how you want the community to be, sort of the tone, the kind of content you want to see in there could be totally different. So I think it's really important to set expectations of sort of who you are, what your values are, and what you want to see from your subscribers and what you want to see from your audience. After that, I love that we were talking about the audience tab earlier. We were talking about demographics. I think those are really important, really illuminating, but I think you can take the next step after that, which is polling your audience, right? Use your community as a focus group. If you have this influx of new viewers that are coming in, this new audience, I would take the next step and really try and understand, well, who are they and why are they here, right? So I would create a poll. You can post that in your community or you can post that on your post tab, and you can ask questions of your audience and poll your audience and really start to understand them on a deeper level and really understand this profile and this person, this persona that you're speaking to.
I love that. Your community is almost like your house. You want to take care of it the way you would take care of your home.
I love that.
Yeah. Todd, I'm going to give you a two-part question because I usually just ask you in general, but I think there's like, if you're a brand new creator and you want to start having more success on YouTube, what are some of the things that you can look towards? Like, how does the discovery system work for new creators?
So it's definitely easier for the discovery system whenever we have viewers that we know have watched your channel before, because then when those viewers show up, we can consider that in there. If you don't have that yet, I think the main thing that I would suggest you do is focus on building your craft as a creator and uploading, and then know that we do have special systems and programs within the recommendation system that are kind of scanning for videos that we don't know that much about, that haven't gotten very many views. And so we do actually have, if you may have seen, like on your homepage, you might get a video that has like 300 views, right next to one that has 10 million. That's us like trying to learn more about videos we don't know much about. Now, we try to do that in as smarter way as possible. You know, we don't necessarily want to, you know, just randomly put this video that you're not likely to watch. So it's still viewer-centric. So we are still, you know, like when Paige shows up as a viewer, we're trying to find the best video for Paige that's in that category of videos we don't know as much about, but we want to make sure that we're collecting signals for all videos and finding those new channels and new videos that are going to be the next, you know, great videos. And we want those videos to be able to compete fairly, even if they don't have an existing audience of folks who are going to be like already subbed and right there ready to watch.
And then the second part is sometimes you've been a creator for a while, you think it's all dialed in, but then you notice it starts to decline. Terrible feeling, I've been there. But this is true across entertainment. It's hard to have multiple hit albums. It's hard to have like long-running TV series. It's hard to have a franchise of movies where every single movie is amazing. There's always ups and downs. How should creators think about it when they feel like they're losing their grip on views?
Yeah, it's always this tension between like, you know, wanting to lean into what's worked in the past versus experimenting with something new. You know, being a creator, I have a lot of empathy for trying to stay relevant all the time. It's a hard job. There's a lot of competition out there, but it really is about finding that right balance of if something's still working well, continue to do it, but if it's not, you know, one of the worst actions I see creators take is inaction, where they just keep doing something even though it's not working anymore. Maybe the style or category has been saturated and audiences are ready to move on. So when you see that, you know, it's a signal that it's time to do more experimentation. And I do see a lot of creators who are afraid to experiment, but it's really something that I encourage you to embrace. Now you have to go into it with reasonable expectations. If you're just starting a new format or a different topic or pivoting your channel in a significant direction, it may take a little bit longer to like, maybe it's not exactly the same audience. Maybe you're kind of moving to a different part of of the audience. And so don't get too obsessed on like the real-time metrics and your first day views and all that stuff. When you build your channel initially, almost everyone, they had to build it up over time and get to that match with the audience. And sometimes you're gonna have to do that more times than the first time to reestablish connection in different areas. So I think the main thing is just have patience and be creative.
Think like a viewer.
Yeah.
Think like a viewer. I love that. I think some people think the first day of YouTube is a job, but the first day of YouTube is school. And I remember the first time I met the biggest YouTuber on the planet, I said, I love your videos. He said, don't tell me that. That doesn't help me get better. Tell me what you hated about my videos. What can I improve? What can I do better? And it's always been that way. I think like when you're really good and you stay good, you're hungry and you want to learn. Jenny, you get the last bit of pro advice.
Yeah, I love what Todd said, because first of all, slow motion is better than no motion. So I just wanted to say that. But as far as my best creator tip, I would say before you make a video, ask yourself if the viewers actually care. Are they actually going to care? I know we were talking about curiosity gap, an itch that they need to scratch. But like seriously ask yourself, is this person really itchy, or is nothing really happening? It's just, but yeah, you need to make the viewer care. If they don't care, then they're not going to watch your video. I see people say, oh, you told me to hook with a question. If there's a question, then people need to know the answer. Yeah, but you're asking a question that no one cares about. No one wanted to know the answer to that. So make people care.
They could be doing anything. There's got to be a reason for them to watch you.
Exactly.
All right, we could keep talking about this for days and days and days, but unfortunately, this session is coming to a close. But I want to know, first of all, how is everyone enjoying the VidCon? Good. How many of you are going to go out there and make an incredible video, go live, do something amazing today? Let's do it. Thank you all so much for having us. Thank you, VidCon. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, Jay.